Hello, welcome to this week's Express class. We're going to focus on our hips again, so hip flexors, glutes, adductors on the inside of the thighs. So we're going to come onto our backs, get started and warm up a little bit of imprinting, just get the abs working, focusing on the ribs, and we're going to get straight into working the glutes. So over onto our back, we'll need the circle again if you have that this week. If you don't, we're going to use just a cushion. So imprint the spine, bring the rib cage down and in, flatten the back onto the mat, legs to tabletop, and tap the right toes off the mat, back to tabletop, and then the left toes. Keep squeezing the back into the mat the whole time. So this week's warm up is to get the lower abs working, and the lower abs complement the glutes to level the pelvis out. Good, keep the back squeezed down, tapping with the heels instead of the toes, stretching the legs out further and further and further. You can straighten the legs all the way if you can. And then legs back to tabletop and bring the feet down. If you have your circle, we'll grab it. If not, grab the cushion, circle between the thighs, have the feet about 6 inches apart from each other and toes pointing straight forward, so don't have them turned out or turned in. Squeeze the circle or the cushion and relax. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you bring the rib cage down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, keep the ribs down. 9, last one, 10, and have a little rest. So we're going to run through a similar exercise to last week, develop them a little bit, but I want you to bring your awareness away from the hips and the lower abs and up further towards the upper abs. Make sure the ribs stay down, the shoulders stay relaxed. So again, imprint the spine, rib cage comes down, shoulders away from the ears. Bring the legs to tabletop, shins are parallel, squeeze and relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keeping the ribs down. 6, 7, chin is tucked in. 8, 9, and those shins are parallel. 10. Grab the circle and bring the feet down for a little rest again. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to have the feet on the mat, circle between the thighs. We're going to squeeze the circle nice and tight, imprint the spine, ribs are down, chin stays tucked in, lift the hips up and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nice smooth movements up and down. 9, make sure the hips don't shake on the way down. 10, hold yourself there, drop the knees out and squeeze. 1, 2, 3, push the hips to the ceiling. 4, 5, make sure they don't drop down as the legs come out, so you can have the hands on the side of the pelvis, make sure that the hips don't sink down towards the mat. 2, and one last one, and then rest the hips back down. Have a little rest for a second. We're going to do a couple more to the circle. So the next one, we're going to have legs in tabletop, circle between the ankles and straighten the legs to the ceiling. So imprint the spine, legs to tabletop, circular cushion between the ankles, ribs are down, chin is tucked in, shoulders are relaxed, squeeze and relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, have the knees slightly pointing out. 9, 10, bend the knees, grab the circle and then rest down. We'll leave the circle down now, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to do a little bit more bridging, we're going to do a couple of different variations. This time we're going to bring the heels and toes together, we're going to drop the knees out nice and wide, we're going to imprint the spine, lift the hips up and then lower back down. 1, 2, 3, so we're not lifting as high with this. 4, we're looking for smooth movements on the way up and on the way down. You might notice on the way down it's a little shakier because as we drop the knees out, the glute fibers contract a little bit more. So we're working the inner range of the muscle where the fibers overlap as far as they can with each other, and they really have to contract nice and tight. Good. Last 2, really exaggerate that imprint, rolling the hips back, And then the opposite on the way down, vertebrae coming down. Last one, hips nice and high, and then rest back down. Good. Bring the feet back 6 inches apart. We're going to imprint the spine, straighten the right leg, shoulders are relaxed. We're going to lift the hips and lower. 1, 2, 3. Keep the ribs down. 4, 5. Keep the 2 knees in line with each other all the time. 8, 9, one last one, 10. And then switch legs. Right foot is on the mat, rib cage comes down, straighten the left leg, the knees stay in line with each other so the left knee never comes up higher or drops lower than the right knee. Ribs are down, shoulders are relaxed, chin is tucked in, lift and lower. Think about digging that heel into the mat, really getting that extension through the right hip so we're not arching the lower back. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one last one, 10. Back down, bend the knees and have a little rest. Next one, we're going to lift the hips up into a bridge. We're going to draw circles with the right leg down with the left leg, have a little rest again. We're going to do our pulses after that. So imprint the spine, straighten the right leg, lift the hips, 10 circles going clockwise with the right leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dig that left heel into the mat, keep the hips nice and high. 6, 7, nice slow circles. 8, 9, 10. Bend the right knee, keep the hips up, straighten the left leg, anti-clockwise. 10, 9, 8. Push that left hip to the ceiling. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the left knee and rest the hips down. Last bridging, we're going to do some pulses. So we're going to lift the hips nice and high, straighten the legs so the thigh, straighten the right leg so the thighs line with each other. You can straighten both legs, that'd be great. Straighten the right leg. And we're going to just do little pulses up and down, nice and slow and controlled. So again, imprint the spine, 2 feet on the mat, lift the hips up, rolling the hips back. Hands underneath the hips if you want to make sure they don't drop down. But don't hold them there, just fingertips on the hips. We're going to straighten the right leg and 10 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend the right knee, extend the hips, straighten the left leg. 1, 2, 3. Dig the right heel into the mat. 4. Keep the rib cage down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend the left knee and rest the hips down. We'll turn onto our side, onto the right side. This time we're going to do a little bit different this week. So instead of doing a hip series, we're going to come onto our side series. We're going to have the right elbow below the right shoulder. We'll start with the knees bent. The knees, hips and shoulders should be in a nice straight line. Top hand onto the top hip, lift the top leg and lower. 1, 2, 3. At the top, you don't want your arm and shoulder being 90 degrees. You want the elbow right below the shoulder. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one last one, 10, and rest down. Usually when you're on our right side, we work the left glutes. This time we're working the right glutes to lift the body up. Now we're going to bring both sides into it. So we're going to straighten the bottom leg down, lift the hips up nice and high, lift the top leg and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then rest back down again. Give the shoulder a little rest for a second. We'll come all the way back down. And the next one we're going to do, we're going to cycle. So we're going to lift ourselves up the right hip. We're going to cycle with the left leg forward and back for 10 each direction. We're going to start to work the left hip then. So again, Up onto the elbow, lift the hips up nice and high, top leg parallel to the floor, and cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, backwards, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest back down. And we'll turn over onto the opposite side. So, 2 knees bent again to start. Elbow below the shoulder and slightly closer to the hips. Top hand onto the top of the hip. Lift and lower. 1, 2. So at the top we have a nice straight line coming up through the thighs, through the middle of the body. 3, 4. Keep the shoulder blades pinched together. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then rest down. We're going to straighten the right leg down. Again, we're going to lift the hips up nice and high, working the left hip. We're going to lift and lower the top leg. Lift the hips up. As you lift the top leg, keep the toes pointing straight forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one last one, 10. Rest the legs down and rest down. Last one on this side, we're going to cycle forward and backwards. Pinch the shoulder blades, lift the hips up nice and high, top leg parallel to the floor, and cycle forward for 10. 1, 2, make sure the knee doesn't drop down. 3, 4, make sure the foot doesn't drop down either. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then rest the legs down, rest the hips down. We're going to come into sitting next. So we're going to sit back on our hips, hands back either side of the mat, pinch the shoulder blades together, and we're going to extend the right leg and bend, and then the left and bend. Right and left and left. So we're pushing the ribs forward. Good. 2 more each side. Pinch the shoulder blades together, so bring that awareness away from the pelvis, a little bit higher up the body, and then rest down. Next one, we're going to extend both legs at the same time. So pinch the shoulder blades and extend. 1, 2, so we're working our quads now. 3, 4, and a rectus femoris, one of the hip flexors, is part of these quad muscles. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when we're in this position, the iliopsoas deep inside the abdomen holds the hips in flexion. We start to tire out 3 of the quad muscles. The rectus femoris doesn't work when the knee extends and the hip is flexed. It'll cramp. So we're tiring out the other ones. So in the next exercise, the rectus femoris works to flex the hip and keep the knee straight. So pinch the shoulder blades together again. We're going to extend the right leg, keep it straight, lower and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rectus femoris is doing 2 jobs here. It's keeping the knee straight along with the other quads muscles, and it's flexing the hip. We've tired the other quads muscles with the first couple of exercises, so the rectus femoris is working even harder now with these. 2, 1 more, bend the right knee. Bring up the left leg, straighten, lower, lift. 1, 2, and again keep the shoulder blades pinched together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend the left knee. We're going to extend the right leg, lower it halfway, 10 circles clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep the shoulders together. 8, 9, 10, change directions. 10, 9, same foot. 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. Bend the right knee, extend the left leg, lower halfway, anti-clockwise for the first set. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Change directions. 10. Pinch the shoulders, push the ribs forward. 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, rest the feet down. And that's it for today's class. A nice soft class, focusing a lot on the glutes, a little bit on the hip flexors, and a little bit more on the adductors this week. I hope you enjoyed the class. See you next week. Bye bye.